My name is Megan, and in 2017, my husband Jeff and I experienced the full-term stillbirth of our daughter Chloe. This was not something that we had ever experienced before. We had two healthy boys at that point. My pregnancy was normal, it was healthy, so this experience kind of came out of left field and was very unexpected. I was 36 weeks pregnant with Chloe when I had felt lack of movement, and so we went to the doctor and found out that her heart had stopped. And then we both had to go through the unthinkable of telling our families that we had lost our daughter. And then it kind of occurred to me that I would still have to go through labor and give birth to a baby that was not going to come home with us. After we had counsel from our pastor, and after I gave birth to Chloe, we spent some time with her in the delivery room, just kind of holding her and looking at her and praying over her and just spending time together, because we knew that these would be the last moments until we saw her in heaven. So we did not ask any of our family or anything like that to come and be with us. We kind of wanted to spend that time just the two of us together. When we came home, we had to do the remarkably difficult thing of telling our boys that their sister was in heaven instead of coming home to live with us. But in doing that, I remember in the weeks following that, especially our 4-year-old at the time, when he would see me sad or upset, he kind of echoed the words that Jeff and I had told him, that I didn't need to be sad because Chloe was in heaven and we were going to get to see her again someday. So it was kind of a bright spot that we got to see the true faith of a child, that he had faith and he believed what we had told him. And then he in turn ended up being a comfort to me at 4 years old. We had a memorial service for Chloe just with family here at our church. And actually a tree that we planted in our daughter's memory is right over here on the church grounds. Her birthday is in October, and it's an autumn blaze maple, so it blooms bright pink right around her birthday in the fall. And we buried her urn next to her tree. Two of the things I think that got me through, aside obviously my husband's love and support, and our family's love and support, two of the things that got us through the most were finding other people in our community that had gone through something like this and had survived something like this, because in the very beginning, at least to me, it seemed like this was not something that a parent could go through and at least emotionally survive. And while it is true that I think it has definitely changed us, and I don't mean to speak for my husband, but I think that we are both different people than before we lost Chloe. But that we haven't changed necessarily in a negative way. Meeting other people in the community that had gone through this was life-changing for me. And the women and their families that I have met that have also lost children have been kind of buoys when I felt like I was sinking. Even after almost 7 years, they have remained some of my closest friends, because when I talk about things that I'm feeling, they truly know and they truly understand, instead of someone who hasn't necessarily gone through a loss like this. The other thing is pretty obvious. Our faith has gotten us through. In the very beginning, when I think it was the hardest, my husband liked to tell me that because to me, sometimes it felt like life was moving on and we were leaving Chloe behind. We had another healthy daughter after Chloe, and we had our two boys, and it just kind of felt like some days it felt like they were growing up and doing all of these new things that we were never going to get to see Chloe do here on earth. And some days it felt like we were leaving her behind. And one of the things that my husband told me that still brings me comfort today is that we need to think of it as not one day further away from her, but one day closer to heaven to being with her. And I think our faith is definitely one of the things that's carried us through. I don't know how we would have gotten through this experience without the hope of heaven and without a community surrounding us that has been through this and survived it.